Hey folks, Moses Woodson here from High Desert Homestead. One of the things I'm doing today is I am going to be working this young horse off of Horseback, and I'm going to be using Blaze to do this. And old Blaze hasn't done this very much. Here I'm just getting him to park out. I teach all my horses to park out, makes them a little bit shorter, makes them easier to get on. In all honesty, old Blaze, we've rode him, and I would ride him about anywhere, but he really hasn't done a whole lot. He doesn't have a whole lot of what I call applicable experience. You can teach a horse to do a lot of things, and until you actually do a job with them, they really don't have the experience. They have the tools, but they don't have the experience. And that's one of the things I'm doing here with Blaze. So I'll be riding Blaze sometimes more than I'm working this young horse. This is the young colt we castrated, and I'm just preparing him here for when I get in the saddle. I want him to see me up above him, and I'm just moving him around here, just getting him to be a little bit better about me being up above him. It's not anything he's seen before, and then I'll get a hold of him and start working him from Blaze, and it's kind of acclimating Blaze to what we're doing here. Here I'll just side pass over and get the lead rope, and I really like working these young horses off of Horseback. It really prepares them for somebody being up above them. That's probably one of the most scary things for a young horse, and what causes horses to buck is when they all of a sudden see somebody on their back. So I'll just move his feet around here, and all I'm doing is just moving him in a circle, getting him to disengage his hindquarters, getting him to soften up just like I would on the ground. And horses are situationally challenged, so anytime you change an element, then it doesn't matter how good they do it. On the ground, when you get on their back, it's going to be a different situation, just like this. He's really good on the ground, but as soon as I took and got up above him here on another horse, the situation's different, so he's just a little bit different. And here I'm having to ride Blaze a little bit. If you're on a horse that's not used to doing this, then sometimes you have to really ride them, really encourage them, because as much as Blaze knows how to side pass, as much as he knows how to yield his hindquarters, yield his shoulders, when you go to start applying it to a job, it's always going to be different. And your horse really doesn't have any experience, applicable experience, until you go do a job with them. And in the beginning, it's not going to look pretty, and it's not going to look polished when you're working a horse off a Horseback with a horse that really hasn't done it a whole lot. You just have to try and accomplish what you're accomplishing, and stick true to your horsemanship values, and that's what I'm doing here. You'll see me reposition Blaze. You'll see me push on him quite a bit. I do not wear spurs. I just use my feet, and I'll bump on him quite a bit to get him into a position or get him to move. And eventually, if you do it enough, he'll get better at it. It's just one of those things where you just have to keep doing the same thing the same way. That's what I always say. So here I'm just petting on this horse. I've moved his feet. The same process I'd go through on the ground, move their feet, come in, rub on them, just teach them that it's not anything bad that's happening here. I've got him saddled up just like I would if I was going to take and get on him from the ground. Here I'm having to ride Blaze around. He really don't understand the concept of what's going on yet. Now I'm just trying to get in position here to just take and get Blaze up here where I want him. There we go. And Blaze is having a little bit of trouble, and I'm just having to ride him here a little bit. And I'm working Blaze more than I am the colt. I want to be right up here next to this colt and just rub on him. Here I am moving his feet again, trying to get Blaze a little bit more polished about yielding his shoulders and moving around. What I'm really wanting to do here is get Blaze to respond to me. A lot of times I'll go back and do what I've done previously and try to get into a little bit better position. Just go back to something that the horse knows. That way they're a little bit more confident. If you just keep trying to do something that's a little bit harder, then sometimes they get frustrated. So I'll go back to something that they know, and then we'll try again. So I've already done some hindquarter disengagement, so I'm going to take and go back to that and then try something new. What I would really like to do is get this horse to yield his shoulder, the colt to yield his shoulder, and I was having a hard time getting Blaze into position. So instead of setting my horse up for failure, I go back and do what he already knows how to do and gives him a little bit of confidence, and he doesn't feel like he didn't get what I wanted accomplished. Just moving him around here, trying to get Blaze into a position. I finally did get him into a position. So here I'm working on a shoulder yield. You can see here this young horse, he really didn't understand what was going on. Blaze didn't understand what was going on. And this is all part of the learning process. I'm going to try to push this young horse's shoulder around. I've got him wanting to go forward. I'm trying to get Blaze to push into him. And it can be intimidating to a horse that's never pushed on another horse. When I ride spurs and do this, he's so big, he doesn't mind it. He'll just push right into a horse. And Blaze is just now learning that he can push this other horse around. And sometimes you just have to try and get your horse in position. And once they understand what they're doing, then they can take and have the confidence to do it again with another horse. And I have had horses try to crawl right up in the saddle with me right here. They don't like being pushed around. They don't like the other horse pushing them around. So they can get pretty aggressive here. This young horse did good, and Blaze learned. He learned how to take and come in there and just push on this young horse. I was really proud of him there. Here I am on the opposite side. I had to do a lot of positioning, so I cut that out. Just a lot of positioning, just trying to get in the right position to do what I needed to do. And Blaze is really learning what he's supposed to do. The young horse is learning how to yield and not just run off. And I think that's very important, is teaching a horse to take and yield their front end. A lot of times we'll just work horses around and around and around in circles, and they don't know how to yield their front end yet. And they run through our hands when we first get on them. So I'm just teaching this horse to go forward and just yield his shoulder. I'm basically riding this young horse from Blaze, and he's seeing me up above him. I'm in the same position I would be as if I were on him, and it's not easy if you don't have a horse that handles. It wasn't easy even here with Blaze, because even though he knew what he was doing, he still hadn't experienced this type of working another horse. I have led, pack horses off of him, but I've never took and worked another colt off of him. And he likes to go. His thing is he wants to just take and go. So it's tight work. This is what I call it, just moving here and moving there and making a lot of transitions from left to right. It's not his strong suit. So this is really good for him, and it's really good for the young horse to learn to have somebody up above him and just rub on him and just be in that position. See here, he really settled down and laid his head there on Blaze. Here I'm just shaking the saddle. A lot of times when I'm on spurs, he's so tall I can actually reach my leg over and put my leg on the other side of the horse. This here's, it's kind of hard with Blaze. He's not as tall, but I can reach my foot over there. You'll see me move around. I'll flex this young horse, teach him to flex left and right with me up above him, just like I would if I was in the saddle. And that's what's really important. He's getting some actual experience of me being up above him, asking him to turn his head. And I did work this young horse quite a bit before I got in the saddle. Blaze didn't want to move. He's like, "What are we doing?" He's never really pulled on a horse. He's never had to hold a horse. He's led a willing pack horse. But here, I'm going to try and get Blaze to kind of pull on this colt. This colt really don't want to move his feet. Don't want to lead off. And I might want to take this young horse out and just pony him around out on the property, out in the countryside. So I want to kind of simulate that before I get out of the pen. And it is kind of a small pen. I'm not really going anywhere, but it does simulate it for Blaze, and it does simulate it for the young horse. He just needs to follow. I had to really motivate Blaze to do this. He's like, I don't want to do this. And a lot of horses don't. When they feel that pressure, they don't want to pull against it. And I have had horses that were good riding horses. I was using them, and I went to tie off to something, and they didn't like the pressure, and they started bucking. Could have been a bad saddle fit, could have been something pinched them, but most time it's just the pressure. So I'm trying to get him to go both ways and just lead up with Blaze and just follow along. You can see he's not real enthused about just following along, and he is kind of sticky on the ground. Sometimes I have to really ask him to lead off. So this is a good exercise if you got a horse that really don't like to take and lead right off and follow up real close. Is just have another horse pull them. Here I'm just twirling a rope, just like I would if I was on the ground. I'm helping Blaze as much as I am the colt. I just take and twirl that rope. I've got a lot of lead rope, about 18 feet. So I've got enough rope that I can just swing it around like a lariat, pitch it on the colt. And there Blaze got a little jumpy about it, so I'll just play with him a minute. And these are all opportunities. When you're training a horse, I think people get so focused on what they're doing that they let training opportunities pass them by because they're more focused on what they're doing. So I kind of let the situation dictate what I'm working on. If I have a horse that gets spooked at something, regardless of what I'm trying to do, I'll take and I'll work on that and just get them a little bit better about it. I may not get them over it, but I'll at least get them a little bit better about it. And the next time they'll be better, and the next time after that they'll get a little bit better. And all you have to do is improve a little bit before you get a horse to 100% about something. So I'm just throwing this back and forth. Blaze has always had a little bit of an issue with his ears. Not sure why. And I always work on that with him. That's just something that's part of our daily routine when I'm working with him. Here we are, just moving around again. I'm going to ride in here and yield this shoulder again. And generally during a workout, I'll change it up. And once I've done something, I'll go back to something the horse knows or something new. And then I'll come back and work a horse again at the same thing. So here I'm just riding around. Blaze and this young horse are doing really well. Blaze is getting better about positioning. I still have to ride him quite a bit because he just don't know what's going on, but he's doing really well. This is actually his first time he's ever worked another horse with me on him, so doing pretty good. When I've got a horse that doesn't know how to lead, a lot of times I like to use another horse to teach him to lead. And I think it helps calm the horse down. I think that, they've got a buddy there. They've got a horse they can follow. So working off a horseback, I think improves the horse you're riding's confidence, and I think the horse you're working's confidence. It's just really a good way to work young horses. Blaze here is getting a little bit more confident about pushing this horse's front end around. And what I'm riding Blaze in, just thought I'd take and mention that. I'm riding him in what we call a wonder bit. I have almost no chin strap on him. It's just really loose. It's just a broken snaffle, and it is a slider, so it slides in the mouthpiece, which really gives the horse a lot of relief, particularly if you don't have the chin strap tight. And like I say, on him, it's almost non-existent. So really a loose bit. It allows the horse to make a lot of mistakes, and it's really forgiving. Just working the colt here again, just petting on him, rubbing on him, and getting him to flex. Keeping a horse soft. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Just because you can bend a horse does not mean they're soft. Softness is a mindset, not a physical act. So if you can't have a horse soft, they're going to take and they're going to fight you at some point. So you really have to keep that horse soft and just work towards softness every day. And the only way you get softness is as soon as they give, you give. Here I'm just about done working this young horse today. He did really good. Blaze did really good, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. And this is just some of the things I do. I don't video everything I do. I don't have a video camera in my hand all the time. I just take and video some of the things I do, and this is one of them. Really proud of my little horse here. Did really good. At the end of a little workout like this, what I'll do is I'll go back and just reiterate all of my 5 basic tools. I'll move their hips, I'll move their shoulders, I'll get them to side pass, get them to yield off my leg, and just reiterate my tools. That's all I'm trying to do here. Getting him to move his shoulders, give him side pass over here, just yield off that leg, and just reiterate what my tools were, because he wasn't as responsive when I was working because he didn't understand the situation, and I really want him to be responsive to my feet. So I just take and work him here. Here I really push on him, really wanting him to step over there, and just work through some of those things with him. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope it gave somebody some insight. Hopefully I didn't ramble too long. Remember, this old world's getting pretty crazy. And if you don't know which way to go, commit your ways unto the Lord. Trust also in Him, and He'll bring it to pass. We'll see you later.